Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Daily Motor, and you're welcome. I picked a snowy day to come out and review the all-wheel drive 2021 Toyota Sienna minivan. Now for those of you who've been following Daily Motor for the last however many months we've been shooting reviews, you all know I love minivans. So I was happy to get the Sienna in, spend some time with it, and see how it stacks up against the Odyssey, the Pacifica, my old 2006 Town & Country. No, you guys know it's better than that. So we got it here, looking like a Tokyo Drift van. I'm standing out here in the windy, snowy, wet, wind, cold, all to see what we've got here. Looks are in the eye of the beholder. I think it looks a little wonky. This brown paint doesn't do it too much justice either. I think a silver would look a little bit more futuristic and sleek, but it is what it is. So let's start off talking about all the static stuff. I can't get over how useful that kick function is. Even when I'm just getting groceries, I don't have kids or anything, but I know if I did and my hands were full, I would love that so much. And I read some other reviews before shooting this, and no one mentioned that. And I was really surprised because I feel like that's so nifty in a van. You know what else is nifty is these third row seats. You want to fold them? Done. Over. Folded. Woo. You're in. You want to see that again because it happens so fast? Boom. Done. Folded. It is what it is. However, not flat at all. If you compare this to the Stow and Go and the Chrysler Pacifica, oof, you're not going to be very comfortable. But you can at least put stuff back there. You can stow things, and when you're ready to go back up, bada bing, bada boom, you're back up. Very easy to do. Although, arguably not as easy as just pushing a button, cough, cough, Chrysler. This is just going to rattle around, I suppose, but you got a nice deep well. You got some storage areas. There is an optional spare tire. Does this one have it? I don't know. You get $75 for the privilege. If you don't like kicking, you can press the button. Same thing on the side door. You can always press a button or just ratchet that thing open old school style. Now this is kind of nifty, not quite as useful as the Odyssey sliding seats or a Chrysler Stow and Go, but you can pull this little lever and slide these things all the way up to give yourself an incredible egress, or you can slide them all the way back to get a bunch of legroom for the second row. Oh, let's get in back here. The one thing that is kind of tough is there's no good way to scoot the seat back at you when you're back here. So for auto reviewers' sakes, not the most convenient. But third row comfort is fine for an adult. You've got USB-A and USB-C on the right side. 3 seats, some cup holders. That is about it. I'm not a big fan of this gray interior. I wish we would have gotten the brown. Second row, scoot this seat back into a good position, maybe about right there. Back here in the second row, Toyota really has made advancements over the previous Sienna, but this still feels a generation behind compared to the competitors. Everything just looks a little bit simpler. You don't have the nice big screens. Now mind you, this is only an XLE model, but still, no one's coming close to the screens that the Pacifica has. You do have that little fold-up sun protection screen, which I like to see. You do have some air vents for kids sitting back here as well. Rear climate controls, even in the XLE, that's nice to see. And you've got USB-A and USB-C ports for charging. But other than that, pretty simple. Oh, you also can put the windows down. They'll go down to about right here. That's about that in the second row of the Sienna. Not taking up as much time as some of the other vehicles. Nice big handle here though, that's nice to see, good and grippy. And into the front, where the Sienna, it's definitely looking, like I said, a little bit more 2020, but not quite as luxurious as some of the competition. But again, this is an XLE model, this isn't the top, so I think Limited or Platinum stands to look a little bit more advanced. Got some extra cup holders, a nice big center storage well, which I believe in some other trims can function as an air conditioner. You got this big center area, which is grippy, and I think that's really nice and smart. And this whole grip thing does come out should you need to clean it. And 12 volt down there, wireless device charging up here. Small annoyance, this is the one USB-A port, and any USB port I should say, that sends device connections to the system. So if you want to have multiple devices doing Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, USB music, anything like that, nope. You only get one, despite all the other power points in the vehicle. I mean, you got USB-A and C there, USB-A and C there, USB-A and C in the back, but this is the only one that provides data connection. If you want to see more on the JBL audio system and how the infotainment system works, check the link in the description for our in-depth sound system review. And hit that subscribe button, helps us out a bunch, and make sure you don't miss any of the great daily motor content we have coming your way every single morning. All right, let's get on the road and talk about the powertrain, the 2021 Sienna, which, if you didn't know yet, is hybrid. Doesn't matter if you're getting the base model, premium model, if you're getting front-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, they're all hybrid systems, gasoline-electric hybrids. And I think that's pretty neat. I think for a vehicle like this, standard hybrid with a CVT, it's just a smart way to go, especially when you look at the fuel economy numbers. EPA, you're talking 36 miles per gallon in the front-wheel drive, 35 miles per gallon with this all-wheel drive model. Huge leaps and bounds from the previous Sienna, and major steps up from just about any other minivan on the market. And those are attainable numbers. Driving around in all sort of driving, even hard doing these reviews and everything, and idling, I'm getting 31. In our real-world highway fuel economy test, we got some wonky numbers. We had 33 on the indication, and then we had 25, I think, after calculating the numbers. So something weird definitely happened with the fill-up there. We're going to redo the test when we have a chance, but unfortunately, I'm not going to have time with this Sienna, so we'll do that again in the future. 245 horsepower when you combine the electric motors along with the 2.5-liter 4-cylinder gas motor. That's plenty of power for this class. Nobody should be complaining about any 0 to 60 time sub 10 seconds in a minivan. Until Chrysler decides to put the Hellcat motor in the Pacifica, it doesn't matter. No sort of slip back there. We did get a little traction control light, but I didn't feel anything getting out of sorts. Now, one downside of shooting this today in the rain is you're not going to get an idea of just how quiet this thing is on the road. They did a really great job. I think this car is very aerodynamic because they had to do that to get really good fuel economy, but a byproduct is it's just a very quiet vehicle. They must have done a good amount of sound deadening. The tires aren't very loud. If you're really curious, check the link in the description for our real-world highway fuel economy test. The road was dry, and you can kind of hear how quiet this thing is going along on the highway. Not only that, the ride is really good too. I think this might be the best ride in the minivan segment. It takes the bumps really well. It's isolated. Just a very solid package. I'm really quite impressed. I gotta be honest, this would be the powertrain of choice for me in the minivan segment. I do really appreciate the plug-in hybrid on the Chrysler Pacifica, but if I were gonna put a lot of miles on a vehicle, I would like just the simplicity of being able to get great gas mileage all the time with this hybrid, and as much as I love Chrysler, you know that Toyota reliability is going to be better. Especially if you're talking high miles, 100, 200, 300,000 miles on your vehicle, keeping it for a long time. Sorry, but you got to go Toyota. Just for kicks and giggles, we'll do a little 60 to 0 braking stop in this wet. Wow. Honestly, not bad at all. And an acceleration. Got a little bit of slip from the front tires initially, but then I think the rears kicked in, took this thing right up to 60. So even though the roads are wet, let's get up to highway speeds and get at least a little impression of how the Sienna acts. You do have 3 different drive modes. You've got Eco, Normal, and Sport, as well as an EV mode, which allows you to prevent the gasoline motor from coming on at slow speeds below 25 miles per hour. Say you were going to get in the car and then just move it out of the driveway and shut it right back off, and you didn't want the gas engine to kick on for no reason. Use that. Not only is the Sienna remarkably quiet on the highway, it's also just very easy to drive. Decently comfortable seating position. No sort of wandering any which way. You do have a very rudimentary active lane keep. They just call it LTA. I don't even know what LTA, lane tracking assist? I'm not sure, but it'll sometimes kind of help the wheel along. Right now it's giving me a little bit of assist right here, but it'll give up, start beeping at you, and then carry right out. So it's not an advanced system by any means. You do have one of these silly little mirrors that kind of lets you look back, even though I don't know what you're going to be able to see out of that. Just missing a lot of technology compared to its competitors. You don't have any sort of cabin talk feature with a microphone like you do in the Odyssey or the Kia. You don't have the fam cam in the Pacifica, which allows you to actually use the center screen and view camera spots, like look at your rear-facing car seat or anything like that. You don't have the cool center screens, so you are missing a lot in terms of everyday functionality. And I could see a lot of people gravitating to other brands for that. But if you like Toyotas, if you've been buying Toyotas, you appreciate their reliability, and you want a remarkably efficient and easy to use powertrain driving experience, the new Sienna provides that. So like most Toyotas, nothing very remarkable, but an incredibly solid, well-built, and well-engineered vehicle. No squeaks, no rattles. Everything well executed, if conservative. Backup camera, again, very basic, covered by some rain there. No sort of 360 superimposed view. It is what it is. Also, I think Toyota needs to step their game up with infotainment a bit. I don't like the contrast of the colors. It works fine enough, but there are other systems, even at this price point, that work better and are a little bit more enjoyable to use and look at. Alright, so there you have it. 2021 Toyota Sienna. Wants us to check our rear seat. We're good. Thank you all so much for watching. If you want to see more on the Sienna, check the links in the description for our JBL sound system review as well as our highway fuel economy test. And we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.